Okay, today's class we'll see how to insert a record into the database using hibernate technology. Yeah. So if you want to do that, there are hardly 5 steps you have to follow. If you follow these 5 steps, you'll get the output. Okay, see this. The step number 1 would be you have to create a table in the database. This is the first step. Okay, so it is into this table I'll be inserting a record now. Like assuming that I'll insert a record saying 101, name is, or ID would be 1, name is Ravi, and salary would be 1000. So I'll insert record into this table using what? Hibernate now. Fine. So this is the first step. Create your table. Yeah. After creating the table, next step 2. What do you have to do? See, write a Java class which represents the table in database. So write a Java class which represents what? The table in the database. Means how many columns you are having here in the table, those many properties you should have here. So in Java we call this as what? Properties. And in database we call them as columns. Clear? So these become the properties now. EID is a variable of type int and it is private. NME is a variable of type string and it is private. And SAL is a property of type int and it is private. So every EID is representing, EID property is representing which column now? Employee ID, EMP ID. NME property in the Java class is representing name column of employee table. Similarly, SAL property of the Java class is representing salary column of the database. So how many columns you are having, those many properties you should have in your Java class. Clear this? Clear. So then next you are having your properties, and for your properties you should generate what? Segregator methods. That's mandatory. So this is your Java class. So that was the first step. We have completed with what? Step 2 now. And okay, fine. Then step 3. Let's come to step 3 now. You have to write one file now called as employee.hbm.xml file. One file you have to write now. So look at the convention. Whatever the name of your class, what is the class name? Employee. Same name you should use for your XML file. And the extension will be what? Employee.hbm. hbm.xml. That's the extension you have to give. And we call this as a hibernate mapping file. Hibernate mapping file. Yeah? So that's the third step now. Write a hibernate mapping file. Now what do you do in this file now? You might have a question. Answer is very simple. We just map the properties with the column here. That's it. You're having the properties in the Java class now, and you're having the columns in the database table. You'll do the mapping. So I've written it very clearly here. Do the property and column mapping. Yeah? With the help of XML, we'll do the mapping. So see this. You'll do the mapping here. This property as well as this property, and these 3 properties, EID, NME, SAL property, will be mapped with what? EMP ID, name and salary column of database. They will be mapped here. Yeah, all of them will be mapped. So I'll do the mapping here. Yeah, so that's the third step. Now fourth step, next, you have to write something called as one more XML file you have to write, and that is called as hibernate configuration file. So that's the fourth step. Write hibernate configuration file. So in this file, what will you do now? So in this file, what we do, we provide database connection details. Means your driver class, okay, your URL, your username, your password, all that information will be provided in hibernate configuration file. And also you will be writing this HBM file now. You'll be storing it somewhere definitely. So the location of that HBM file you'll be specifying in configuration file now. And this file will be saved as what? Look at the extension. What is the name of this file now? Hibernate.cfg.xml. So this is the name of this file now. This is mandatory. Hibernate.cfg.xml file. So that's the fourth step. So everything is ready now. You have set all the code now. You have written all the code. So once this is ready, what you have to do? You have to write the code to insert this into the database. That's the fifth step. Step 5. Write client code. So I'll be using public static void main to show you Hibernate. So in this public static void main program, what will you write? You'll write the client code. Some code you'll write, and that code will insert all these values which are there in your TO into the database. So this is the concept. And now I have to show you with what? Programming. You understood the concept now. So I have to show you this in coding now. Yeah? Now before we proceed, or before I clear this, some more things what you have to understand is, there are some Hibernate terminologies. When you read books, you'll come across these words. So you have to understand those words. See, this Java class what we are writing here, class employee, clear? When you are reading Hibernate books or notes or documents, you will come across some words very commonly. So those words means this class, sometimes they call it as entity. So this class is called as what? Entity. Entity means what? Record. It represents one record. That's the meaning of it. DO means what? Domain object. So these are all the common terminologies you'll be coming across now. DO means domain object. Clear? Then sometimes they call it as VODB, means virtual object database. Clear? So how it gets the name, when I go and explain you Hibernate, you'll understand. Clear? In one scenario, the same entity will get one word. They'll use one terminology. Clear? DO. Then next is what? VO. VO you know. What is that? Value object. And TO. TO means what? Transfer object. And lastly POJO. POJO means what? Plain old Java object. Plain old Java object. Yeah? So when you're reading books about Hibernate, you'll come across these many terminologies. All will be related to what? Same to you only. Now one I'll explain to you. See, 2 points I'll explain to you here. Entity. Why it's called as an entity? Because it represents one record. So that's why it is called as an entity. That's how it gets the terminology. Now one more terminology I'll explain to you. Why it is called as POJO. POJO means what? It's plain old Java object. Correct? It's a simple Java class. And it is neither extending nor implementing. That's why they call it as what? POJO class. And again, if you notice, Hibernate is what? Non-invasive. It is not extending anything, not implementing anything. So that's why it is called as a POJO class. So like that, slowly you'll understand why it is called as VODB, VO. TO you know, because it's used for transferring values from one layer to another layer. So that's why these terminologies are very, very important when you're going through Hibernate. Okay? So you understood all this concept now. So next I have to show you how to code now. So I written on all these steps now. So I'll go on with the same steps now, and I show you how to insert these records into database now. Done? Fine. Yes, sir. The next thing what you have to understand now, software is required. We need some software now for executing this program now. Yes, there are two things what you have to install. One would be Java, the other one would be any database. MySQL, Oracle, anything, but I'll be going with which one? Oracle. So these are the two softwares which you should have installed in your computer now. Yeah? Okay, now I'll start showing you how to code this example now. Yeah, for coding I'll be using Eclipse as usual. See, first we have to create the workspace, is where we are going to type our Hibernate examples. So I'll go to D drive. Okay, in D drive I'm having my folder Ravi Kumar. In this I'll create one folder called as Hibernate examples. Done. So this will be my workspace. I'll open Eclipse there. I'll shift to Java mode, and I'll close all unwanted windows here. So yes, so this will be our workspace. So let's start. Okay, let's start coding now. So what is the first step? Step 1 is we have to create the table. So I'll show you how to create the table now. So I'll go to the SQL Plus. I'll go to the SQL Plus and I'm using Oracle, correct? So Windows R, CMD, I'll go to the SQL Plus. So from here, I'll log into one schema or one user. So I'm using the SQL client to interact with what? Oracle database, and I'm logging into one schema or user by name HR. Okay, if you are having your own schema or username, you can log into that also, like example Scott, Tiger, whatever you can log in. Yeah, or if you have created your own separate schemas, there also you can type and log in, but you have to go to one schema and create a table now. Done? So yes, so we are logged into the schema now or user, and I'll create a table. So let's see how to create the table now. You know the query now. So I'll type everything in caps. It's the convention I'm following. Or I'll do one thing. I'll type all these queries in Notepad so that it is visible for you properly, and then I'll paste it here. Yeah, the query type now. See this, create table. I'll create an employee table. Clear? Yes, employee. The column name would be EMPID. It is of type, data type, number. Size would be 5, and I'll be making it as a primary key. This will be the primary key now. Primary key, comma, then next. The next column is what you are having? Name, NAME. It is the data type is going to be of type varchar 2. Size would be approximately 30. Okay, then salary, SALARY. Data type would be of type number. Size I'll give it as 5. So this is the query. So I'll take this query now. Clear? For your clarity, I'll just put it in 2 lines. So this is the query. I'll take this query and I'll paste it here. Clear? So that, now I'll run the query. Table has been created. So let's see. Select star from tab. So these many tables are there now. Okay. See, these are already some existing tables, but we created the table by name. Which one? Employee. This is the table I created. Clear? So if you want to see that, there's no data in that. Select star from employee. We are working in the employee table. There are no records to be shown now. So your table is ready. Step 1 done. So now what is the step 2? You have to write the Java class. So now I'll start using Eclipse. Clear? So I'll move to Eclipse now. So in Eclipse, if you want to type your program, you have to create a project. So I'll create the project now. See this now. So we are going to step 2 now. Step 1 is over. Clear? So we are going, all this will be of step 2 now. So create the project now. Right click, new Java project. Give a name to your project. I'll give it a 01 basic. Yeah, say finish. Your project is ready now. Clear? Now see, when you are writing when you are doing your hibernate project, you'll need some jars. I'll add all those jars now. Clear? So let us add those jars. See, the hibernate jars, we have given it in your DVD. Okay, all the hibernate jars which we require for programming now, we have given it in your DVD. Jars are nothing but libraries. We are going to use some built-in classes now, and all these classes are present in this jar file now. Clear? So we have given it in your DVD. It will be titled as what? In the DVD, the main folder is named as cluster softwares. In cluster softwares, we are having one folder called as jars. So in this jars, we are having a folder by name hibernate jars. So it is in this folder we have kept all the jars now. So I'll copy this folder because we will need it every day to code now. So and I'll put it into what? My local system. Clear? So I'll put it into C drive. We know we are saving all the jars where? In one folder by name my jars. So there you paste your jars now, all the jars. So this is the folder. Now in hibernate jars, if you open, there are 2 folders. One is required jars, other one is mandatory jars. So now we need all the jars which are present in the required, clear, or mandatory, sorry, all the mandatory jars is required now. Optional we'll see later, but you have to add all the jars which are present in the mandatory folder now, clear. So I'll add it. So add all these jars now. You know how to add the jars. Right click, properties, Java build path, libraries, add external jars. Where are your jars now? My jars. Go to C drive, my jars, hibernate jars. You have to go to mandatory jars. So there are a list of around 11 jars. All the 11 jars you have to add. Select all and say open. It will be selected. Say OK. So added how many jars now? All the 11 jars you have added. One more jar is needed now for getting database connection. Clear? For which we are working with data, which an Oracle database. So we need OJDBC jar now. So that also we'll add it off. So how will you add now? Right click on the project again, properties, add external jars. Now that jar where we have kept? We have kept it in my jars, Oracle jars folder. In Oracle jars, we have kept OJDBC jar now. So this is the Oracle jar. Add it. Clear? So totally added Oracle jar and hibernate jars. So 11 hibernate jars plus 1 Oracle jar you have added. And say OK now. So done. So now you have created a Java project, you added all the jars. Now we'll start coding our what? Java class. Correct? So I'll code my Java class where? In one package. So I'll create a package first. So I'll go to src, new package, com.cluster is the package. Fine. So in this package I have to create one entity. Correct? So new class. And what is the name? Employee. Done? So say finish. Then next, what is that you have to do here? You have to write the properties. Each means how many columns are there in your database table now? Those many properties you should have in your Java class now. So yes, let's start typing now. Private int. I'll increase the fonts. I increase the font so that it is visible for you properly. So private int. What is the property name I am giving? EID. Fine. Next. Private string NME. The next. Private int sal. So this is your entity now. Yeah. So I written all the properties. EID will represent which column? EMPID. NM will represent name column and SL will represent salary column. Fine. And for these properties what you should do next? Generate setter getter methods. So generate the setter getter methods. Source, generate getters and setters. Yes, for all the fields. Select all. Okay. So yes. So your entity is completely ready now. Clear? This was step number 2. Done. Now we have to go with what? Step number 3. Step number 3 is what? Create the mapping file. Let's see how to create the mapping file now. So see, be careful. Now this mapping file, what you are going to create, should be kept along with your entity. Means if you are keeping employee in com.cluster package, your employee.hbm.xml file should be kept in the same package. Clear? So I'll go to the same package, right click, new file. Clear? So keep the mapping file along with your entity in the same package. Employee.hbm.xml. And be careful with the spelling. Employee.hbm.xml. Just say finish. Go to source. Yes, right now there's nothing here. So before we code any XML file, generally we need something called as doc type on the top. So that doc type, I'll give it to you in one file. You just copy and paste it. Yeah. So in this readme.txt, you'll find it. It will be given to you. Don't worry. So see this. Add this doc type in hibernate mapping file. It's clearly written. just copy this doc type, this much, and paste it into what? This employee.hbm.xml. And we are now moving into the third step. Third step is what? Step 1 over, creating tables. Step 2 is what? Java class is over. Step 3 is writing the mapping file. We are doing that now. So start seeing now how we type the mapping file. Yes. So here there is a root tag called as hibernate mapping. That's the root tag. So in this XML file, it starts off with hibernate mapping. Okay? Enter. Fine. Next. In hibernate mapping, there's a child tag. Now you have to start coding now. Here in the hibernate.mapping file, what will you do? You map. Remember that. You map the properties with the columns of the database. So that's what I'm going to do now. See this. Class, you have to type. Yeah? Class name is equal to, what is your class name? Give the fully qualified class name. com.cluster.employee. You have to give the fully qualified class name. Yeah? Table is equal to, what is your table? Employee. And it's better, even though it is not case sensitive, which on the table name and all, even though it is not case sensitive, it's better you follow some standards while writing the mapping file. Yeah? So that's why I'm following what? I'm writing, what standard I'm following? For all the database related things, I'm using caps. Yeah, so that it will be easily differentiated. If you see something like this, in small camel case, it is Java. And if you see fully caps, it will be database. So that you can identify. Follow this standard, it will be helpful for you. So fine. So close the tag. So now the properties of this column has to be mapped with what now? Columns now. So start mapping now. So first tag I'll use ID. Name is equal to EID. So this is the property name you have to give here. Give the property name of the Java class. Yeah? ID type. I'll explain you all this code. Okay, just see this. Type is equal to int. Now use one more tag here called as column. Name is equal to EMP ID. Done? And one more tag you use now. Generator. Generator. Be careful with the tags. Generator class is equal to increment. I'll explain you all those tags attributes in a moment. Just follow the code now. So we have finished mapping it with one property. Yeah? We have to map two more properties now. So you have to learn these tags now. So next property I'll map. See this. For this I'm using what? Property tag. Property name is equal to, what is the next property? NME. Type is equal to string. Sorry. Yeah, this property we map with which one column now? Yeah. COLUMN column. Which one? Name is equal to column name is which one? Name now? NAME. Done. So one more we need now. What is that? Property name is equal to sal. Type is equal to int. Column name is equal to column spelling. Done. So I'll just align it so that it will be visible properly for you. Check all the tags. Class, ID, column, name column. It's closed. Yeah. See this now. I'll explain to you. See what has happened here. In this mapping file we are doing nothing. We are just mapping what? The property with the properties of the Java class with the columns of the database. More than that, nothing we are doing. So that's what we are specifying. Class name is equal to what? Your fully qualified class name is mapped with which one now? The table called as employee. First I'll explain these two tags. Property. You know property means what? Property of the Java class. So that's why name is equal to what? Enemy. So in the Java class we wrote on property called as enemy. It is that one now. So see this. Enemy now. Same name I have used there. That's it. And it is of type string. Now be careful. This type is equal to string. It is a hibernate data type. This one. Type is equal to wherever I am using. These are hibernate types. These are not SQL type also. These are not Java types also. Clearly understand? They are not SQL type also. They are not Java type also. They are hibernate types. Now why this type is specified is because here when the data moves from Java environment to database, okay, the data conversion has to happen. Means Java string has to be converted to what? SQL string. Similarly, SQL string has to be, when it comes from database to Java program, SQL string has to be converted to what? Java string. So this is the type which converts your data types. Means this hibernate type converts data type from Java to SQL and SQL to Java. The hibernate types convert data types from Java to SQL and SQL to Java data types. Clear? So that's what we are specifying here. Type is equal to string. So property name is equal to enemy, type is equal to string, you understood. And it is mapped with which column now? Name is equal to name column of the table now. Similarly this one, property name is equal to sal. Type is what now? Int. Again it is int. This is again hibernate type. So this data type converts what? From Java type to SQL data type, from SQL data type to Java type it will be converting. Fine. Column name is equal to what? Salary. So that property is mapped. So you understood these two. Now one we have to understand. What is it? It's very simple. This column you understood, no problem. But I'm using a tag called as ID, notice. So if you are having primary key, that time we use the tag called as ID. Now our EMP ID is what? A primary key in the database. So that's why I'm going with what? ID tag. And here I'm specified. Name is equal to EID. EID is again your property only. Type is equal to int. That's also okay. Column name is equal to EMP ID. You understood this mapping? Fine. But I'm using one more tag called as generator class. Now what is this tag? This tag actually it is going to automatically generate your primary key value, because we'll go on inserting records now, and it will be automatically generating a primary key value for your column. So you have to use the tag called as generator class is equal to increment for generating your primary key value automatically. Done? Yes sir. So step number 3 is over now. So next what we have to do? Step number 4, you have to write the configuration file. Done? Yeah. So that configuration file will be kept in SRC package now. Be careful. Clear? See here, I am clicking on SRC. New file hibernate.cfg.xml. That's the file name. Okay? And I am keeping it where? In the SRC. See the notice the difference. Where is mapping file and configuration file? Don't make mistake. It will not work. Fine. So hibernate.cfg.xml is in SRC now. Fine. Again go to source. We are in source now. So again you have to add. Every XML will have what? Doc type. So you have to add it. So again go there. Copy this thing. This is the doc type. Blindly copy it. Paste it. Done? So now next. So we have started with step 4 and we have tried the configuration file. Fine. In the configuration file, what are the details we will provide? Database connection details and the location of mapping file. That's it. So let's provide those values now. Yes, to provide those values, I start using again tags now. So see this, the root tag here would be hibernate configuration. This is the root tag. So next, the child tag of this is session factory. You have to start typing now. Session hyphen factory is the tag. The next, under this, type one tag called as property. Name is equal to hibernate dot connection dot driver underscore class. See, there are some tags here which you have to use. Clear? So I am just explaining the first tag. Property is the name of the tag. Name is the attribute of what? Property tag. For this attribute you have to provide this value only. What? Hibernate dot connection dot driver underscore class only. You have to provide. And here is where you provide your driver class. Clear? Driver class now. We have to driver class for which one? Your database. Okay. So for Oracle it is what? You provide that value now. Provide the value here. JDBC colon Oracle dot JDBC dot driver dot Oracle driver. Provide the driver class. Done. So then next, the next property means provide all those four values. Driver class, URL, UID, password. That's it. You have to provide all these four values now. So again, property name is equal to what? Again, hibernate dot connection dot URL. Clear? Yes, what is the URL for Oracle? JDBC colon Oracle colon thin colon @ localhost colon 1521 colon XC. So provide the URL. Clear? JDBC colon Oracle colon thin colon @ localhost colon 1521 colon XC. Fine. And next property you have to give. Property. Here what next? Hibernate dot connection dot username. Yeah, the username is HR, means the schema name you have to give, or your username. I'm using HR. If you are using Scott Tiger, give that value. Yeah, Scott value you have to give. That is the username. One more property. Hibernate dot connection dot password. Yes. So these many values we gave now. Clear? So these are fixed. So use these values only, and for this value you have to provide what? Our database connection values. So these are fixed. Hibernate dot connection dot driver class and all that are fixed. Fine. So we have provided all the database connection details. One more information you have to give now. There is something called as dialect. Okay, see now more information. Property name is equal to hibernate dot, it is called as dialect. So value for this is org dot hibernate dot dialect dot Oracle 10G dialect. org dot hibernate dot dialect dot Oracle 10G dialect. I'll explain what is a dialect once second. Then next, one more property you have to give. Property name is equal to show underscore SQL. Fine. So these two tags I'll explain in a moment, but see, in the configuration file we provide what? The DB connection details, database connection details, and one more is what? Location of the mapping file. So that also we'll provide it off. For that you'll be using one tag called as mapping. Mapping resource is the attribute is equal to com dot cluster, sorry, use slash, it's a resource, so use slash com slash cluster slash mploy dot hbm dot xml. So this is how you have to give the value. So let us see what are these three tags now. See, this mapping resource, you know, we are just telling where is the mapping file. So I am telling com slash cluster slash employee dot hpm dot xml file. Clear? So this is what you have to tell. This is the location of your mapping file. Start with the package. It's this mapping file is in the package now, com, but use slash, remember that, because it's a resource. Okay, fine. Next, let's come to these two tags and understand what is it. Property name is equal to hibernate dot dialect, and what is the value I have given? org dot hibernate dot dialect dot oracle 10G dialect. This value I have given. See, if you notice, this is nothing but a class. Yes or no? It's a package. org is a package. org dot hibernate sub package. Dialect is a sub package of hibernate, and finally, if you see oracle 10G dialect is what? Class, and that is a class given to you by whom now? Hibernate people. Understood? It's very clear. The self-explanatory. The package name, if you see, you can understand it. Now, this dialect class, why you use this? See, Hibernate is telling, do not learn native SQL queries. Yes or no? So, for every database, there will be one dialect class. Okay. For Oracle, the dialect class is this. Now, what will this dialect class do is, this is the dialect class which will generate the native SQL query for you. Means you don't have to learn the native queries. Oracle queries and all, you don't have to learn. So it is this class which will generate the native SQL queries and execute your program. Clear? So that's why you have to add the dialect also. Fine. Now when the program is running, if you want to see your queries getting executed, so that is why you use this show SQL true. That's it. False means your queries will not be displayed. So like this, you'll slowly start understanding every tag. But overall summary is what of this? Here we provide the DB connection details and we specify the location of mapping file. That's it. Nothing more here. Clear? That's the overall summary. So go with the summary. So step number 4 is done. So lastly we have to write what? Step number 5. The client code we have to write. So first let me explain the client code. Then I'll type it and show it for you. See now when you are writing your Java JDBC program, you'll have some client code. No? Similarly here when you are writing your Hibernate program, you'll have some client code. So let's see the client code, how it will be now. So class demo. So we'll be working with public static void main string args, fine. So here first you create your TO. First we need the TO to save into the database now. So here I'll be hard coding. Later on you'll be seeing these values coming dynamically. Yeah. So employee emp is equal to new employee. You create your TO object. Done. And you have to fill the values. So emp dot set nme. Call the setter methods and set the value. I'll add a value called as Ravi and emp dot set sal. I'll give the value as 1000. Notice I'm giving only the name and salary. I'm not giving what? The primary key value ID. EID I'm not giving. Why? It is automatically generated. Because we use the tag now ID generator class is equal to increment. So the tag will actually generate your primary key value. So I'll not be specifying, giving the ID for this. Fine. Next, let's start writing the client code now. See this. This code slowly it will take time for you to understand, but this is your hibernate client code now. Configuration con is equal to new configuration. So every line of this I'll be explaining to you, but in the later class, not in this class. Clear? What will happen in each line I'll be explaining to you, definitely. But the thing is, you should concentrate on output and get your output today. So only concentrate on what? Output. See to that you get this output today. So this is the class I'll be using now. Configuration con is equal to new configuration. Configuration is a class given to you by whom now? Hibernate people. So we have added all the jars now. So these are all classes present in those jar files for you. Done? Next, con dot configure. What is it? Configure is a method present in what? Configuration. Fine. Next, I'll write properties. Prop is equal to con dot get properties. So again in this configuration there is one more method called as get properties. If I call that method, return type is what? Properties. It is a java.util package, properties. Fine. And next it will be saying standard service registry builder SRB is equal to a new standard service registry done. Fine. Then next standard the return type, standard service registry SR is equal to SRB dot apply settings. You have to pass this argument properties dot build. You will call the build method. So the return type of this is what? Standard service registry. Fine. Then see, this is the what is most important now. Clear? So fine. See, I'm not having space, I'll just move on top and I'll write the code now. So I'll move from here to here. Clear? Yes, see. Standard service registry SR is equal to fine. So now I'll write session factory SF is equal to con dot build session factory of service registry. You have to pass this argument now. SR will be passed here. So once this is ready, you have to tell SF dot don't worry, I'll be coding and showing you all this. Just let me explain this to you. So from the session factory, you will get one session now. Yeah? And from the session, I'll get one object called as transaction. And I'll begin the transaction. And in the transaction, I'll say what? Save. SEH dot save. Session is there now. This session I'm using to save now. Yeah? So the persistent manager in hibernate is session object. So that is the object which is used for doing what? Persistent operations. So you have to remember that. So save, I'll say, and I'll send our EMP object which I have created. So automatically it will insert these values into database. That's it. No query, nothing. Directly map now. So the hibernate system will identify the value in this property has to be stored into that particular column, and you will commit the transaction. Okay, you have to commit it. So this is actually the boundary of transaction. All about this we'll be seeing more in next class, but just I'm giving you an idea about what is this coding. This is the boundary of transaction. Okay, and you have to close the resources. I'm closing both the resources here. Session.close, we are closing this also, as well as I'm closing session factory.close. Clear? So write this code and then you have to write that particular code now. So the same code I'll code now. It's going to be simple. So in Eclipse it will be fast now coding. That's it. So if you write this much of client code, your values will be dumped into the database now. Clear? Remember this is okay. First write this, then you have to write this. Okay? I'll be coding and showing you now. So I'll create the demo class now in the com.cluster package itself. Right click, new class, demo. Yeah, I need the main method. Fine, ready. So it is here we are going to code the client code now. Yes. So first what you have to do, you have to create the employee object, because that's the value you have to save in the database. So I'll start creating the employee object now. Employee EMP is equal to new employee. Fine. EMP dot set. So I'm only setting the name. Set and sal. Two things I'll set. ID will be generated automatically. So done. Your TO is ready now. Next what you have to do? You have to write the hibernate code now. So let's start writing now. Configuration. Be very careful. Okay. Because there are so many other classes which start with configuration in many packages. You have to import the one with org.hibernate package. One wrong import, your program will not work. So check out now. We need which configuration? org.hibernate, not this one. One more class is there in some other package, but I need the configuration in org.hibernate.cfg package. See to that all these classes are coming from org.hibernate package. So done. So I'll go with this one. Configuration. Con is equal to new configuration. Done. See the import is happening on the top. Clear? Then next. What is the next line you have to write? Con.configure. Correct? Huh? See this. Then next. Properties, control space, java.util properties, import it. Prop is equal to con.get properties. Check out the methods, be careful importing. Yeah, so this is done. Then next, what you need? Standard service registry builder. So standard, if you type control space, see there, so many standards will come. But I should import which one? Standard service registry builder only. Service, yes, which one? This one. org.hibernate, that only you have to import. So see, it is there in this package, org.hibernate.boot. So from that package you have to import. SRB is equal to some variable name you give, new standard service registry builder. Then next, standard, what we need? Service registry I need. Standard service registry SR is equal to SRB dot apply settings. You have to pass an argument of type map object. Properties is also map object only, no? So pass that prop prop dot what next method? Build. That's it. So this is done. Then we should create the session factory object. So I'll create a session factory. See this org dot hibernate. Be careful in importing. I'm repeating. SF is equal to con dot build. Correct? Session factory. There are overloaded methods. Build session factory. One is a without any parameter. There is one more with what? Service registry parameter. So choose that one and pass your argument of type what? Service registry SR. Be careful. Use this overloaded method. Then next, after that, session you have to need. You need the persistent manager. Session, import it. Which one? org dot hibernate. Session ses is equal to sf dot open session. What I wrote? Correct now? I had written open session only now. If I made mistake, check out. This is the method sf dot open session you have to say. Then next we need the transaction manager. Transaction. See, again two classes are there. One in javax dot transaction package, but I want the one in which one? org dot hibernate package. Be careful. Transaction tx is equal to session dot get transaction. Done. Then next, begin the transaction. Transaction dot begin. Yes, it is here where I want to save now. ses dot save. You have to save your object. Which object? emp. Correct? emp. That's it. Then commit your transaction. Then close your resources. The two resources. Which one? Session and always it's advisable to close resources. Session dot close as well as session factory dot close. Done. That's all the client code. Look all the imports. org dot hibernate. Be careful with these imports. So client code ready. Yes. So next what we have to do? We have to last I'll put an SOP here. Inserted successfully. Okay, just one message. So yes, let's run the program now. Right click, run as Java application. Run your Java program. Yes, here this is the console. Something got executed. So Hibernate system only generated what? The native SQL query. Selected, it has executed, it has inserted. Clear? And let's go to our database and see now. So earlier when I said select star from employee, there were no records. Now see. Clear? So when you execute that, automatically it will be saved now. Done. So next, if you want to save one more client, you can do it, no problem. I'll change this to Vinay. I'll make the salary as 2000. That's it. Just run your code now. Again, it will only generate all the queries. And you can see select star from employee, inserted. The primary key value is getting automatically generated. So this is how Hibernate system works now. And you can already notice Hibernate is using prepared statement to execute the query. Yes or no? It's using placeholders and all that. So the performance of your application will increase. Hibernate knows what to use when and all that. So this is a simple program what you are seeing. So just get this output. Your concentration should be today only to get output, because very new API you are seeing, very new tags. So see to that you code all this properly and get your output now. Yeah. And what I'll do is, before I close the class, see this SQL query what I wrote. I'll put it into this project itself. In the project, see this, what I'll do, I'll create new file, employee.sql file. In this SQL file, I'll keep that script for you so that you can use it. You know, this code will be given to you now. You can take the code from there. Now fine. Employee.sql. Now one more, readme.txt is also needed for you. Yes or no? So I'll create one more, new file readme dot txt, finish. So that is done. So in this readme.txt I'll put all those doc types. Clear? So anyway, you'll be getting this program, just copy and paste this into your mapping file and configuration file. So today your concentration should be only what? Get the output. Do not bother more about what is doing what and all, because this is the first introduction what you are seeing. All this will be cleared in your coming classes. Step by step I'll explain to you how these things are getting executed. Clear? Okay, that's it.